Hi everyone, my name is Tony and today I'm going to show you how to get this repository here up and running on your machine. This repo here is a simple web application that uses Django, Python and Django on the back end and AngularJS on the front end. And this web app has a lot of architectural features that are nice for a web app to have. So in this video, I'm not going to talk about this application architecture. I'm just going to show you how to get it up and running on your machine. All right. So the first thing you have to do is to clone the repository. So I already have it cloned in somewhere here. So I'll just find somewhere else, like say I have a temp folder. Yeah, so this is as good a place as any. So git clone. Okay, there it goes. Right. So now here we have the README file. It has instructions on how to set up your project, but it's all in Portuguese. But Google Translator is probably good enough for this, so I'll just paste it here and then select Portuguese to English and then click here, then Google will translate it for us. Okay, now we have an English version of our README setup. Okay, all right. Those two links here and yeah, the first and the fourth links are videos that talk about this repository, but they're both in Portuguese. There is also these blog posts here, which are not supposed to be translated. Okay. So these blog posts talk about a few of the architectural features of this project, which is exactly the stuff that I'm not going to talk about in this video. But if you want to understand better the architecture behind this project, then you can read these three posts here. This is number 1, and then 2 and 3. Actually, it's better if you just go to the original post because they are in English. So yeah, this is the right link. Okay, but this link here is on the original README, so that should be okay. All right, now before you start working with Django and AngularJS, there's with this project specifically, there's a bunch of stuff that you have to have installed on your system. Here I'm using Ubuntu, and when you're working with Python and Django, it's usually easier to use Linux, to use any flavor of Linux. Mac will work too, and Windows, yeah, that works too, but those are known to have a few hiccups during the process of setting up Django and the Postgres driver, Postgres, the database that we are going to use. So if you use Linux, then everything should just work. Okay, now these are a lot of packages that you have to install. So I'll just run this command here, but it won't have any effect because I already have all those things installed, but I'll just run them anyway. It should probably say that, you know, all this stuff is already there. Or maybe not. It's downloading Postgres. Maybe there's an update. I hope that doesn't break anything. Let's see. Okay. Now, one of the things that I installed was npm. npm is another package manager meant for Node.js, which we will use a little bit as development tools for this project. So with the second command here, we are going to install globally. So this is an argument for npm to install this library here on the machine itself. So this is why we have to run this command as root, which is what sudo does. So yeah, this should work too. And yeah, I already have gulp installed. I'll just run this command anyway, just so you have, just see it happening. So you think you can tell? Come on. Heaven from hell, blue sky from pain. Can you tell? Come on. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video for a little bit so you don't have to hear me singing. Okay, gulp is installed. Now, let's see. Oh, this is in Portuguese. Sorry, this is the English version. Make sure you have Python 3. My Ubuntu has Python 2 and 3, and actually this translation here is bad. And Python 2 is the default. So let me show you that. If I run this Python -v, no, Python. See, the default is, oops, Python 2. Okay, but I also have Python 3. Now this will point to Python 3. Okay, I have both, right? But the default is 2. So I already made sure that I have Python 3. And also I need to install virtual env wrapper, which is a Python tool to create Python virtual environments, which is like a sandbox for installing Python libraries. So there's the website for virtual env, and here on the website there is a few instructions on how to get virtual env wrapper installed, let's say for Linux somewhere. I don't even remember, but if you follow those instructions here, it will lead you to have virtual env wrapper installed on your machine, which allows you to create and manipulate virtual envs, which are the next steps of our README here. Okay, so these first 4 steps are the operating system setup, so you won't have to do this once in a lifetime. All right. Now, the next steps is is for setting up this specific project itself. So if you had to create another project, then you would have to follow these new steps again. All right. Now, this is a web application and it uses a database, right? So our database will be created inside Postgres, and it will be called DjAngular3. Okay, actually I already have this user called DjAngular3 and this database called DjAngular3, so I'll just change this and create another user and database called DjAngular C. Yeah, okay, so this is what we are going to do. I'm going to turn into the Postgres user, so now I'm logged in as Postgres here, so I can I'm like the database super user. Now I can create a user called DjAngular C. Okay. And the password will be DjAngular3. And it didn't work because my database is not running. So I'm going to start it. Sudo service post start. Here we go again. Postgres. Now we'll do this again. Okay. Control C, Control V. Again. Great, we have a new user. Now we can create the database itself. So I'm just gonna create a database called DjAngular3, which is owned by user DjAngular3. Okay, we have a new database. Let's go back to our current user, which is called Tony. So now, if we open pgadmin, which is a database client, we can see that the database has what is it? Database has a new user called DjAngular3 right here, and the new database called DjAngular3 here as well. All right, so we have a new database, and then here we see this instruction here. If you want to change the name of the bank, which is database, user and password, you have to change the settings.py file, which is actually you have to open the project, right? Okay, so it's tmp. Where is it? Here it is. Let's just open on Sublime Text. Good. Now I have two editors open. Okay. Now, this settings py file here, it's trying to open that database, so we have to change these things here. Okay, so this is like the database connection information. Okay, good. Now, next thing, we have an empty database which is ready for use by the application. Now, the next thing we have to do is to create the virtual env. So this is the command that we are going to use to create the virtual env. So this exists on your operating system because you installed virtual env wrapper, right? So virtual env wrapper makes available this tool mk make virtual env and then work on, which is used to manipulate virtual environment. So here I'm just going to create a new virtual environment which will be called first I'll just say that this virtual environment uses Python 3 with this argument here, and then I have to provide it a name which will be DjAngular3. Okay, now here's a problem. I already have a virtual environment called DjAngular3, so I'm gonna delete that. My virtual environments live in this folder here. Actually, let's see where they are. Work on home. There is environment variable. Yes, this environment variable here is used by virtual env wrapper to determine where the virtual envs live. So if I go here, I already have virtual env called DjAngular3, so I'm going to delete that so that I can create a fresh one. Okay, good. Now, if you have followed the instructions for virtualenv wrapper installation, and they somewhere here it tells you to create this environment variable here, which is work on home, which is already set on my terminal. So here when now I can actually create the virtual environment. mk virtualenv -- python equals python 3. So create a virtualenv with python 3 enabled by default, and it will be called DjAngular3. Okay. Now you see that my prompt here, it's changed. Now it's telling me, hey, you're inside the DjAngular3 virtual environment. So if I run now, since I'm now inside this virtual environment, if I run Python just like this, it will default to Python 3. Okay. If I go out of the virtual environment by typing deactivate, see, I'm not inside the virtual environment anymore. Now I go back to the operating system Python, which is Python 2. Okay, good. Now let's go back to the virtual environment. So I just type work on DjAngular3, and then we're back into the virtual environment again. Now the next step is install all the dependencies of the project. They are listed in requirements text file. So in this file here, requirements text. So yeah, there's not a lot of dependencies here. Okay, so we actually have to go into the project DjAngular3. Now this file here. Then since we are inside the virtual environment, now we can use pip, which is Python package manager, and tell it to install all the dependencies that are listed into this file. Okay, don't make me sing again. Okay, you don't want to hear that. I know. Do you think you can? Okay, here we go. It's all installed. So our virtual environment has all of those dependencies there. Now we can we have Django installed inside the virtual env, so we can tell it to create all the tables in our database. So hopefully this will work. See, we have this manage py file here, and then we can just say, hey, go create your tables. It works. Yes. DjAngular3 public tables. We have 11 tables. Okay, good. It created a bunch of tables. Now the next step is to you see, one of those tables contains system's users, which is this table here. So I'm not logging in with a user that can see it, but yeah, so this will contain our users. Now we can tell Django to create a user on that table, like this: create super user. Okay, Tony's fine. Tony@tony.com, don't care. Password 123456. 123456. Oh, really? Okay. 123456. Enter. All right. We have a new super user in our database. Now, this is enough for the backend part of our project, right? We can actually run a project like this: run server, run server. Hopefully it will work. Now we have something running at port 8000. It may not be pretty, but it's there. Okay, this is page source. This is not nothing, okay? This is something. It has a bunch of JavaScript errors, but this is working, at least as better as it can right now, because we didn't do anything about the front end. Okay, the front end of this project is completely contained inside this front end folder here. So there's like a clear and nice separation between the front end and the back end. Okay, we don't in this project we don't generate a lot of HTML code from the back end. All the HTML code is static, and all the interaction that the user experiences is because the application will be generating HTML at runtime in JavaScript without doing a refresh, without talking without getting a whole new page from the backend every time. Okay, now how do we set up the front end? So there's a few more instructions here. So now we have to go into the front end folder, and then you see in this folder here we have a file called packages.json. Okay, this has a list of dependencies, of Node.js dependencies that you can install with npm. So when you install these dependencies with npm, it will create a new folder here called Node modules, where all these dependencies will be installed. So we just have to run npm install right here, and then npm knows to look inside the packages.json file. Yeah, this is going to take a while as well. So let's pause again. There. Now, as you can see here, we have a new folder called Node modules. Okay, so this is not supposed to go into the source control. Okay, so you don't commit this folder here. You should have it inside, listed on your git ignore file. Okay, now we can actually use some tools that are available inside the Node modules, and we use it with Goop, which is one of the things that we installed here. It's the first thing that we installed. So Goop, we will use this Goop file here to do all sorts of things with our front-end code to make it run and make it build and stuff like that. Okay, now let's see the next step. Okay, yeah, the next step is going back to the root folder, and here on this root folder we have this bash file here, which is what I like most about this project, which is executable help that will free you from the burden of having to remember all of the commands that you can run on this project. Okay, but if you want to know what each command does, then you just have to look inside this file here. So you have to import these functions here into your terminal. You can do this by running either source dev.sh, or you can just run and then there's a space here. So don't. A lot of people try to run like this, /dev/. This is not what you're supposed to do. You have to import the functions into your terminal. So just run like this. Okay, when you run like this, then you get this this little help here, which is in Portuguese. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. So I'll just tell you what each of these command does. So this command here, it prints the same help. This will run Python tests. Just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So this will run Python tests. This will run the Django application, the same thing that we did with, let's see, manage run server. We already ran this manually. This will build the front end. So most of the commands here are related to the front end, to all the code that goes into the front end folder. So let me just show you some of the most important ones, which are front dev and front run. Okay, front dev, if I run this, it will create, you see, here we don't have a dist folder here, right? It will be created by this command here, front dev. Okay, so this actually ran a bunch of the gulp tasks that are defined in our gulp file, okay? And then it created this folder right here, dist, which has like how can I say, a version of the front end that is ready to run. Now there's this other command here called front run, which will run our front end playground on port 91. So what this does is that it just opens up a web server on this folder right here that is listening on port 91. So let's just do that. Front run. And it's running. Okay, now we can open it. Localhost 91. Then we can go to this folder. And then here we have two HTML files, right? This is the index file, which is the front end for our application. Good. So our application is, you can see that we are logged in as John Doe. We can log out. We can log in again with a random user. Okay, good. And then we can list. You see, it is a toy application. So here it just listed a few cameras from supposedly from a backend, but this is not what happened. See, I logged in with a random user here that I just typed. So if we had a real backend, we would probably get an authentication error, right? So on this application here, we are actually using a mock backend. So here on our front-end code, we have those two files here, API.js and API mock.js. So this is like the real API that is supposed to talk to the real backend running Django and Python. And this is a fake API which pretends to talk to the backend. And when we built our application using front dev like this, our index.html file that was generated here inside the gist folder used the API mock.js file. All right. So here we have, what we have here is an application where we can develop all the aspects of the front end of our application, but we don't need to have a database, we don't need to have Python running, so I can work only with HTML and JavaScript and CSS using this. Also, there is this other application here, which is this other page here, which is called Docs, which is meant for to let you develop new components and to have a playground for working with new components and documenting how they work. Let me show you. Here I have a component called a to-do list, okay, and it works. And I can view, and it can actually view the source code that was used to produce this test page. So this is a test page for a new component which is called to do, and it's very easy to go here and add a new test page for a new component. So let me show you how, a quick example how to do that. I'll just copy it from here. So you just you have to create a folder called Docs somewhere. So I just create a new folder called Docs here, Docs, and then you have to create a new JavaScript file, sample.js, and then you add a new test page for a component like this. And don't worry if you don't understand any of this code just yet. This is AngularJS code, and if you don't know AngularJS, well, we'll learn it. You will have to learn it later, but don't worry with that just yet. Now, I'll just want to show you how you can add a new test page, like my test page. Then I'll add a new category called my category. And then this folder here has to point to the folder that I'm currently at, which is components/docs. And then there is the sample page, which will be called let me see, sample HTML. Okay, I don't have any additional source for this, so I'll just create this file here, and here I'm gonna type the code for my new sample page. Hello world. Okay, now if I just run the front dev command again, hang on a second. I have to go up a level. Now front dev. Then you see this is required because I created a new JavaScript file, so I had to update this docs file here to include that new file, which is where is it? Here. See, this this file right here was just updated by that command that I just ran here. So now I can hit refresh. It didn't work. Oh my god, it didn't work. Sample is not defined. Sample.js. I didn't save this file. Okay, good. Refresh again. Good. Now we have a new test page which just displays my test page in the browser, and then I can also see the code that was used to produce it. So what this docs page, I dare call it a docs application, what this application does is that it serves as a component catalog for your application that you can use to develop new components and test them in an isolated manner. And you can also use it as a documentation of how to use your component. Like in this case, I can show you how you can use this component called to do right here. Okay, so a new developer that wants to use this component can look at this code and see a sample, an example how to use it. Other developers can look at all the components, all the test page that you have for the components on your application, and maybe avoid recreating new components where they could have used an old one, right? So this avoids like duplicating code. Okay, so yeah, this is what I had to talk about this project. This is enough for you to get it up and running, and this is it. We covered all the steps here. Now, what I suggest for you to do is that you go here and read more about this project's architecture in this link right here to get more familiar with AngularJS and all the decisions, the architectural decisions that are made mainly regarding this project's front-end code. All right? Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.